Duo right there is going to be tough to contain for the Pandas tonight. Natalie Kieser for the Pandas, she's been rolling so far. She put up 3 points in the last series against MRU. She's got to put the team on her back tonight, especially with Abby Swieko being out of the lineout.
Yeah, did that with a shorthanded goal and an assist in that loss to MRU. As we're going to go ahead. For now, Alberta's going to have to make do without their leading scorer in Abby Swieko. As we welcome the teams now onto the ice officially. And again, a matchup between these two teams last year that ended in heartbreak for UBC in the Canada West Finals. But UBC got a measure of revenge early on. They beat Alberta already in Vancouver this year, 3-0, a game that was closer than the scores. UBC scored 2 empty netters to put an exclamation point on that opening one, but then dominated Alberta 5-1 in game number 2. As now we go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup, starting with UBC. In net for them, it will be Elise Hugans wearing number 35, 6-0 on the year. Half of those games are shutouts. Her save percentage is .952, second in Canada West, only bested by her teammate. On the defensive side of things, it'll be Jalen Morris, who leads all defensemen in Canada West in scoring, as well as Kaylee Pepler wearing number 28. On the forward line, it'll be number 19, Annalise Wong, the captain for the Thunderbirds. She'll be flanked by Grace Elliott. On the left wing, the reigning National Player of the Year, and then in between them, Vanessa Schaefer for the T-Birds. For Alberta, it's Misty Ray in net tonight with Annie King and Kate Williams starting on the blue line. As then on the offensive side of things, first-year Emma Power, top 5 in rookies in scoring, will be joined by second-year Holly Magnus, who leads all Pandas who are active tonight in scoring, and then the captain Natalie Kieser will play between them on that starting line. Our officials tonight, for the referees, it'll be Jill Cloverhamel, Haley Betts, and then the linesmen Alyssa Main and Haley Brand. As we now turn things over for our land acknowledgement and our Canadian national anthem, we'll be back for puck drop between the UBC Thunderbirds and the Alberta Pandas as we continue to watch Canada West hockey on Canada West TV and CBC, powered by BioSteel.
Coach of the UBC Thunderbirds is Graham Thomas. Assistant coaches are Artem Sadu and Nancy Bahar. Now, fans, put your hands together for the starting lineup from your University
And we welcome you back inside Clare Drake. Patrick Erickson and Riley Turgeon happy to join you on this Friday evening on CBC and Canada West TV. Alberta and UBC puck drop just a moment away. Riley, any final thoughts before we get this very exciting rematch of last year's Canada West final going?
Yeah, for the Pandas, it's all about staying in the first couple of minutes. We've kind of talked about how they kind of seem to get caught sleeping in the early parts of the game, so the Pandas got to be on their toes tonight and protect the net.
A lot of the goals in the last few games for the Pandas that they've allowed have either come in the first couple or last couple minutes of each period. That was the case against Mount Royal, and they'll be looking to avoid that. They had last week off when University of Alberta was on reading week, so refreshed players with the week away from games as well as from their studies. Now back set to get underway. Alberta in white and green, UBC in blue. UBC going left to right and Alberta going right to left as we are underway with the clean face-off win for the Pandas, controlled by Annie King. And an immediate icing call will bring things down the other end. We did talk about Abby Soyko not part of it, but first-year standout defenseman Braden Stewart also a scratch today for the Pandas, likely dealing with a little bit of a knock. But that's another big miss for the Pandas, dealing with a top line like Grace Elliott.
Oh, absolutely, and she's looked comfortable out there so far, so that is a big loss.
Another clean face-off win for the Pandas. That was an area they excelled in last year, but hasn't been as strong this year. And we're just going to play back and forth hockey and icing one end, and then that one goes right in on Elise Huggins on net. Not a shot, but she'll cover it up, and Alberta will get the benefit of an offensive zone draw right here as Jaden Morden, one of the top players for Alberta, someone that the Pandas really need to get going, comes on and takes this draw. Started off the season strong, and it's been a kind of a theme early on. The Pandas trying to piece together a second scoring line. As here is Elise Wong. That shot just high of the net, picks up her own rebound, and now there is Grace Elliott for the first time with the puck on her stick. Again, reigning U Sports Player of the Year from a year ago, and leading all of Canada West in goals in the early going this season as well. 13 goals and 4 assists in 12 games for her. Callie Clouston chips that in, and Pandas will change things up. Top line still out there for UBC. A bit of a difference here. We're already on our third shift for the Pandas, whereas UBC finally making their first substitution there. We'll see if that continues to be a pattern or if that is more of an anomaly, as Riley Smith making just her 4th appearance of the year after she returned from a injury layoff of almost 2 years long, back onto the ice. Now for the Pandas, that shot by Carruthers blocked, didn't get all the way through, and she'll play things around. Kelly Stanford up on the forecheck, but it's taken away from her, controlled by Meadow Carmen, who will wrist it in deep, where it is picked up by Carruthers, trying to shovel it back out with some help from Bordetti. Does so. That shot in on net, sticked aside by Ray. First save of the night for either goalie. Misty Ray did play in that 3-0 loss against UBC. Only allowed one of those goals. Again, 2 of them were empty netters. Misty Ray made 23 out of 24 saves. And Panda went down there, and a couple of players wondering if there was a call forthcoming. There was not, and now UBC back the other way as Maya Healy shot off a Pandas stick. Annie King, who lost her own stick after the fact, but the Pandas do exit the zone. Now here's Natalie Keyser, the Pandas 2-on-1. Rosari with Keyser, backhanded shot, second shot, both turned aside by Huggins. Rosari had to stretch just a little bit for that pass from Keyser, but 2 good looks there, and Huggins makes 2 good saves.
Oh man, Keyser with that pass, and it almost went past the goalie there. Nice little play here, 2-on-1. Get it out to Rosari, and she really wanted to chip that one in. Yeah,
just a little bit of a struggle with that control off the pass, but still made 2 good whacks at it. But Huggins doesn't have a save percentage, just shy of 96% for nothing. Makes 2 good saves, and that shot deflects into the net. Huggins did play in the second game, won 5-1 by the Thunderbirds. Only had to make 8 saves on 9 shots in that game, so higher shot volume needed certainly from the Pandas than 9, as both teams changing things up here. Offensive zone draw for the Thunderbirds, who will throw out Grace Elliott onto the ice. along with Wong. Face-off goes the way of the Pandas, but then picked up by Elliott. Her shot deflects, doesn't get in, and the loose puck picked up by Parrott, who gets it out. Tipped by Clouston, had the red line, no icing. Clouston will chase the puck into the corner. And now back to Elliott. And bodies collide off the puck, but it is controlled by the Pandas. Parrott gets it in deep and goes off for a change. Now Jalen Morris, who leads all Canada West defensemen in scoring. But that puck's going to go too far, and the race is won by the Pandas, and we'll go back the other way. A little bit of stop and start for both sides, but an even one shot apiece through 3 minutes and change, no score.
Hey, well, they got like we said, they got past the first 3 minutes, and still 0-0, so Pandas are still in this one.
Good start. Again, missing leading scorer Abby Soiko, as well as first-year standout defenseman Braden Stewart. And facing a very veteran UBC team. Face-off eventually corralled by UBC, but that puck is going to go way too far, and yet another icing. So we'll come right back down towards the Pandas offensive zone and do it again. As we take a look at the Canada West standings through about a third of the season, Alberta off to a little bit of a rough start. They played their first 6 of their first 7 games on the road and have played a lot of games against the top teams in the standings. They've played 2 against Mount Royal, as well as this is already their 3rd game against UBC this year. So looking to make up some ground, and again, UBC undefeated so far on the year. As UBC trying to exit their zone, they eventually do out to center ice, where it is picked up by Annie King, and it's just onside there where the Pandas bodies go down, no hands go up, and we got a UBC player down behind the play. It might have just been an incident collision, but Haley Carruthers got the better of that. The 2 number 5s, that's Jalen Morris. That's something to watch there, as we're offside. And now we can talk about it. If Jalen Morris has anything more in a stinger, that would be a huge loss for UBC.
Absolutely.
You take a look at it right here. Riley, your thoughts?
Yeah, just both heads were down. Nothing on there that screams like it was on purpose or anything. Just you didn't see the other person coming, and hopefully Jalen Moore's all right there. That'd be a huge loss for the UBC.
Yeah, getting some attention at the end of the UBC bench right now. Reagan Udall and Meadow Carmen both having a chat with one of the referees, probably just about slowing things down and being safe. Never want to see an injury like that. Both these teams in their 2 games, they're not fond of each other. There's a ton of penalty minutes in the 2 matchups in Vancouver. There's a near turnover there, and there is a turnover, and it nearly turns catastrophic for the Pandas, and they're a bit fortunate to survive that. But they do survive for now, but now the Thunderbirds set up camp in the offensive zone, looking to create something. Is Sandilands now unable to keep that puck in was Audrey Church, and the Pandas get a bit of a break there as well. And that puck gets in deep. UBC having to tag up, and both teams change as Udall tips that in. Again, a little bit of a choppy start for both sides. A golden opportunity for Leanna Rozzari on a 2-on-1 break early on. They gave her 1 shot, looked like there might have been 2, and that's going to be yet another icing. But that's really been the only real action we've seen in this game so far. There's been a lot of this. Yeah,
a lot of back and forth, but it's like these teams are kind of saving their energy right now. You know, there hasn't been too much action so far, but both teams are going to be digging in pretty soon. This is a grudge match for sure.
And there, take a look at that. Was the turnover there that nearly turned into a goal. As Madison Weave, one of the many 5th years on this veteran Thunderbirds roster, had to be kicked aside. They didn't officially give it to Misty Ray as a save there, but it sure looked like she got a piece. Maybe we'll adjust that in a little bit. Either way, face-off controlled in the end by the Thunderbirds, and they are able to just clear it out as Black throws it in. Pandas have to tag up. Carmen with possession of the puck, but she turns it over now. Both teams kind of struggling to get out of the zone in the early going. Both teams make a living, though, on a heavy forecheck. So strength against strength. Jaden Morden doing the harassing that time, but UBC eventually works up their left side. And that shot in and gloved by Ray, who will get it out of her gloves in time to avoid a face-off. And the Pandas exit the zone. Jalen Morden crushed into her own bench there. Fair play, says the officials. Jaden Morden, you can see her going off. Didn't really think much of that. And man, and now I don't know what we got here. There's no hand up, but it sure looks like there could be a penalty coming. I think both sides are very lucky right now not to have players in the box.
It's getting a little chippy out there, and these refs are all for it. They're kind of letting anything go right now, so why not?
Yeah, see multiple potential trippings from both sides. But as you say, referee's letting them play, and there's another example there. It's Haley Craig and Maya Healy get in a tussle there. That shot is on net, saved by Huggins, and then a little how do you do after, and then a little bit more than that is Olivia Buckley comes in late from UBC, and our first little scrap behind the UBC net. And again, I reiterate, these teams are not fond of each other, and a lot of that goes back to the rivalry from last year. But these have always been two of the top programs in Canada West, and you can see it right there.
Do you think UBC's a little bitter about how last year's Canada West Championship played out?
You know, just a little bit, and we've certainly got most of the players back that remember it, including Grace Elliott, who just came back onto the ice. Beyond being a tremendous player, she towers above everyone else on both rosters at 6'2". Maybe a coincidence she comes out after her first little dust-up, maybe not. That puck unable to be held in by Black, so she'll retreat. And under heavy pressure from Wong, who's very quick, the Pandas retreat back into their defensive zone. And Wong, with some help, forces a turnover initially. Now Black with it, forces it into the corner where Rosari picks it up. And a tie-up now in 2-on-2. The Pandas and Thunderbirds into that corner. It comes away. And the Pandas able to clear out. Nice play by Abby Bordetti. And now the Pandas break 2-on-2 with Rosari and Bordetti. Bordetti tried for the shot. It got blocked, never got through. Rosari now with it behind the net. Had her pass picked off, but makes a good play and retrieves it. But Bordetti trying to force it back to Kate Williams at the blue line. Had her own pass picked off by Annalise Wong. And now both teams changing things up. Captain Keyser in a tussle at the edge of the Pandas defensive zone. Once again, a 2-on-2 tie-up there as they saw a stick right into the chest of Keyser. Holly Magnus with some help gets that away. Magnus, along with Emma Power, the two youngsters playing with the captain today. Again, it was Abby Soiko who had moved up from a line with Jaden Morden to Natalie Keyser's line the last couple games, and those two, Keyser and Soiko, showed a lot of chemistry. But again, Soiko missing today with an injury, remains to be seen as she'll play tomorrow. Turnover there for the Pandas. But they are able to retrieve the puck. And those hard Clare Drake boards nearly caused another turnover, but Emma Power able to usher it down into the Pandas offensive zone. And just off the bench there, or actually heading on the way to the bench, was Hannah Perrier, who made a good play there. And now the Pandas are going to ice the puck. So again, we continue this early back and forth, kind of like watching an air hockey match, honestly, except for it gets called when you play it down like that.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for both these teams just to even get it out of their own zone. Very physical game so far. It's definitely lived up to the billing of a rematch.
As we take a look at what else is going around Canada West, is McEwen playing at Saskatchewan. That game underway with now 1-0 Sask after 2 periods of play. And also just underway, Manitoba and Calgary, and Mount Royal and Trinity Western will get going at 7 o'clock Pacific time, so in about 40 minutes or so. Mount Royal and Trinity Western will be a good one. Pandas will see Trinity Western next weekend, and that puck turns over right to Clouston. Sharp angle shot, gloved by Huggins, but you like to see that. Callie Clouston scored 2 goals in the first 4 games of the year. Hasn't found the back of the net yet, but something like that, she'll get going, and the Pandas have had the more dangerous shots so far today.
Yeah, definitely a lot more high-risk shots for the Pandas. Clouston hoping to get another one there, find the back of the twine. It'd be great if she could get going for the Pandas.
Huggins, an excellent netminder, gloved that one down. And that one hard out of the zone, and then a wicked deflection, and then another wicked deflection, but handled well by Misty Ray. And Baird then takes a couple of Pandas right into Misty Ray. The Pandas have an few things to say about that. And for the second time in about 4 minutes, we have a dust-up, and the officials are going to have their work cut out, especially if they continue to let the physicality play out.
Yeah, they did not like that, getting shoved into Misty Ray there. Yeah, you gotta protect your goalie at that point.
Mia Baird, yet another of those fifth years, riding one of the Pandas right into Ray's crease. Face-off picked up by the Pandas, but not out. Carmen with it, slap shot, well blocked by Annie King, stepping all the way up to the top of the face-off circle from her defensive spot. Makes a great play. That was a hard slap shot, and Annie King makes sure Misty Ray stay clean. And we're finally going to get a penalty. I think it's going to be on Haley Craig. We'll wait. And Haley Craig has some extras to say after that. Might be trying to get a even up here, but that's going to be our first penalty. I'm not too sure compared to some of the other ones we've seen, but maybe the referees finally said enough is enough. Or is it going to be... Oh, yeah, it's Haley Craig. She's just taking a very long time getting there. As you see the little shot there and then the afters. And so she'll be into the box. And now we get to talk about a UBC power play that clicks at 14% against the Pandas PK that struggled against Mount Royal, but ranks mid-pack in Canada West overall.
Yeah, surprisingly not a very potent power play for UBC.
Considering all the firepower they have. That puck just held in. And cross-checking the official call for Haley Craig. As we have a scrum here, as everybody but two of the skaters are tied up, it finally comes away to the Thunderbirds. And once again, the Pandas off to as Keyser this time pins the puck away, but now Elliott comes out with it, and now the Pandas got to scramble to get back into position. Here comes Zinger, and just could not connect. Was thinking about placing that shot and just couldn't get it off. But the T-Birds maintain the zone, back to the blue line. They work the puck. Good crisp puck movement. Grace Elliott's shot blocked down, I think, by Keyser. Keyser and Magnus were in there, and then Elliott tried to force it through the crease. It was knocked away, but not out. Minute to go on the power play. Puck hasn't left the Pandas' defensive zone. Elliott tries to force the issue. Denied by Sarah Cazell. Now back to Zinger. At the blue line, it works around one more time. And they find Elliott in the late face-off circle and try to pick up the top corner there and could not, and the puck not able to be held in by Zinger, and the Pandas will get at least one fresh body onto the ice. That's all they can get. And then Misty Ray there wisely covers up. That's a shot and a save, but also the cover up and allows the Pandas to get fresh bodies, because that was a minute and 25 of the same four PK out there who did an excellent job.
Yeah, nicely done by the Pandas PK here. Able to dominate the board so far. They've been getting bodies and pinups right on the boards, making it a tough sledding out there for those Thunderbirds. Hard
to win the physical battle when Grace Elliott is one of your opponents, but safe to say they, at least on this penalty kill so far, have done that. As more bodies collide and go to the ice off the puck, Thunderbirds have 22 seconds to get something. They have one shot on this power play so far, as they work from behind the Pandas net. Now back to Thorpe at the blue line. And away it goes. 10 seconds as we await the return of Haley Craig, and Misty Ray will swallow that one up. And no rebound, and that's another thing, and that's a point of emphasis for the Pandas. Rebound control for their goalies, and also from the defense clearing it out has been a problem in the last few weeks, but you can see a concerted effort there by Misty Ray, as well as the defense really trying to take care of those loose second pucks.
Definitely. She's been way better at corralling those rebounds today than I've seen.
And we'll have a brief discussion between the scorers and the officials, as it is worth noting, Grace Glover, one of the other Panda goalies who is not active tonight, but presumably will be tomorrow, working today pregame, and the entire purpose of that was rebound control. They had another goal, the extra goal down right in front of her for deflections, and just trying to work on that. So certainly something that you can see the coaching staff is working on, and through 10 minutes and 39 seconds, pretty good for Misty Ray's part. And that shot from distance off target. As the penalty is officially over, the Pandas kill it off. 2 shots for the Thunderbirds, but no goals, as Haley Craig is out of the box. But the puck's still in the Thunderbird zone, as we're tied up in that right corner. All sorts of bodies down there. 2-on-2 the tie-up, and it eventually comes away to Abby Bordetti, who's harassed and does a good job to reverse things. Now Kate Williams able to get it up, and that's tipped by Udall, but before the red line, and Udall can't quite get there, so it'll come right back down, and we'll do it again as the Pandas struggling to clear the zone after the penalty. 0-0 our score. These two teams will meet again tomorrow at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And they'll meet 2 more times after the new year in Vancouver. And of course, always the potential these two top programs in Canada West women's hockey will see each other yet again in the playoffs. So if you think the animosity's bad right now, imagine a few extra games and higher stakes. Puck comes back in, and it's picked up by the Pandas. Kate Williams, and then a turnover that time, and that one's knocked away. They say it didn't get through, but Misty Ray made a good play. Pandas a couple times now have nearly hurt themselves with turnovers. The referee gets in the way of that Grace Elliott pass, and now Haley Craig with it, but she's pinned up against the boards. And once again, a Thunderbird down on the ice. But the puck, nice crisp pass and really well handled by Haley Craig to get that out. And no icing, so the Pandas finally get that much needed clear and are able to change some things up here. And right back down comes Grace Elliott and UBC. Really nice move by Elliott, but she's all by herself, just holding up play at the end of a shift. Still does a really good job of that. Despite being the leading scorer in the conference and the reigning player of the year, you like to see little things like that. That'll now allow for another offensive zone draw for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, definitely good play down there on defense for the Pandas there, and yeah, they've kind of stifled Grace Elliott up to this point. She's had maybe one good look, and so far it's been tough sledding for her.
Was held off the score sheet in the first game between these two early on in the year, but did get a goal and 2 assists in game number 2, and was a whopping +4 in that 5-1 UBC win. Shot from deep is kicked aside by Ray. He picks up her 6th save of the evening, and we have a penalty. And I think it's going to go against UBC, but we'll wait to see the official call. Nope, they're pointing at Keyser. Oh, we'll see. We're just going to wait. It's either Keyser or Mia Baird. And it looks like Baird's the guilty party, so it'll be the Pandas' first power play here, and a chance to do something for a team that was very good on the advantage last year, dead last right now in Canada West. Now you have to go against Canada West's top PK unit in UBC, but what better way to fix your power play than in a situation such as that?
This is a great test for the Pandas, and if they can pot one here, maybe they'll be able to exercise some of those demons that they've faced all year.
Certainly hasn't been in the last few games, at least, for the lack of chance generation. As UBC controls the initial draw and get the early clear, but this is a problem, and this might set us up here as that shot is too high. But as Hannah Perrier had that, UBC does lead Canada West with 5 shorthanded goals. In fact, these two teams combined, the Pandas have 3, so that's 8 between these two teams. The rest of the 7 Canada West teams combined, just 3. So shorthanded goals, certainly a potential for both teams. Here is Carruthers. That shot not through, but a big rebound, almost shoved home by Magnus. Not sure if it got through, but kept clean. Now Melnick from the blue line finds Carruthers again. Carruthers has an excellent wrist shot and puts that one right into the body of Huggins, who makes her 4th save. But a couple of good shot looks there for the Pandas, who will change things up 45 seconds into the power play.
Yeah, looking at that first little bit of the power play there, they looked pretty crisp besides the shorthanded turnover, but I think they're starting to find their footing here.
Face off 50-50. Annie King's got a long skate, not going to quite get there, so she'll have to backtrack with the puck and finds Callie Clouston, who will dump it in up the left wing. Pursued by Ryan Parrott. Held in nicely by Annie King for a moment, but then out and all the way down. As making an equally good play was Maya Healy for the Thunderbirds. Pandas will get it in. Nope, that one didn't get all the way in, and had to be very careful to avoid too many men there, as there was a change going on with that clearance. But the Pandas will be able to reset here with 34 seconds to go on the power play. 1 shot so far as Morden heads up the left wing. And has the puck knocked off her stick where Keyser pursues it with 2 Thunderbirds for company. And Magnus able to get it back, finds Kazell from the blue line, thought about the shot, opts to play it off the boards to Morden. And that one works out. And that has dwindled us down to 10 seconds. As Sandilands pursues the puck and will kill off the last few seconds, and a turnover there, and that shot didn't miss by much. And that sure looked like it hit the net above the right corner, but they keep the play alive, and the penalty is officially over. So both teams 0 for 1 early on, and a couple of good shorthanded looks for the Thunderbirds, but neither of them put on net. Abby Bordetti coming away with the puck from a scrum. And the Pandas and Carruthers takes on 2 Thunderbirds, gets it in deep, gets knocked over. Bordetti gets to the puck. The Pandas changing. Bordetti hooked from behind. And now she's in a battle. And the puck turns over to the Thunderbirds. But not out. Held by Stanford. And now Rosari throws it into the corner. Thunderbirds will try to head up their left. They now have it out 2-on-2. At the end of a shift, otherwise they might have had a 3-on-2. And they'll throw it in where it's picked up by Black, who gives it up to Riley Smith. Now to Rosari, touch pass, and a really good play to deny the exit pass from Haley Craig. Pandas will try it again. Here's Rosari. He played for UBC, it should be said, last year. Played just 1 game for them and then transferred to Alberta, where she's been a fixture in the bottom 6. A good penalty killer. Has gotten some second-team power play minutes in the last couple of games as well, and Coach Howie Draper very high on her. Plays a lot bigger than her 4'11" stature would suggest. And first time she is playing against her teammates on home ice. She did play in the 2 games earlier this year in Vancouver. Pandas get that out, and we'll get a change. 3:42 to go, no score. 5-4 our shot count in favor of UBC. And that's an icing. The red line was not gained, and the Pandas catch a break. Almost described this start as kind of sleepy. We've definitely seen both these teams skate faster than this, and you never know at the end of a break, and the long plane ride for the Thunderbirds can always play a factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Natalie Keyser will take the face-off, tie it up 50-50. It squirts loose, picked up by Grace Elliott. He gets it out to center ice where Maya Healy plays it off the boards to herself, but Annie King makes a play. Pursued, though, by Jacqueline Fleming. And now Buckley able to hold the puck in for now, and now back to Fleming. Backhands it into the corner, picked up by Kate Williams. Now to her line mate, Annie King, who's tied up, and that right corner in this zone has certainly seen its fair share of tie-ups in the early going. 3 minutes to go in period 1, no score. 5-4 again, the shot clock, and the referees say enough is enough, and they blow this one dead. Both teams will change it up here. Grace Elliott back onto the ice with this offensive zone draw, and it'll be countered by Jaden Morden's line. And the official calling Morden over along with Annalise Wong of UBC to have a conversation with them. We have seen, after an initial flurry, it's been a noticeable decrease in the physicality. Maybe both teams were given a warning, but not sure what this conversation's about either. But everything seems to be fine, and we're ready to get back underway. Morden wins the face-off clean, and the Pandas a chance to exit. Melnick does just that, finds the stick of Ryan Parrott, who forces the issue deep with Morden for company, and the puck comes back out. Pursued by Elliott, picked up by Kazell. Tipped in by Clouston to Morden, who gets taken down and draws a penalty. Morden's been asking for that a couple of times, and her wish is going to be granted, and the Pandas will get their second power play of the evening with 2:37 to go in the first period, and that one was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, definitely, and this is a couple of times Morden's been getting hit. She's been getting hit a lot in this game, so she's glad she finally got her wish on this one.
With Abby Soiko sidelined, you could argue Jaden Morden being their most talented offensive player available. And it's been noticeable this year, last year playing on the ice with the Madison Willen, who was a 100-point career scorer. There's been noticeably more attention to Morden this year. And that's a case in point, but this time she draws the penalty, and Magnus skates in. Wrist shot is saved by Huygens. Oh, Magnus is quick to that puck, and Huygens made a great save. But Holly Magnus, who's been dynamic in her second year so far, made a heck of a play and a golden opportunity for the Pandas off the power play.
Wow. Just quick to the puck and almost got one past Huygens there, but man, Huygens has been a brick wall so far in this game.
Credit her, she did not go early. You could see the hesitation for Magnus, as Huygens will cover that up again. But you could see that she stayed with it, and that allowed her to make that save eventually from Holly Magnus, who did score last week, or in the last time out against Mount Royal. 2 goals and 7 assists for her in 11 games this year. Has a power play assist this year, looking for her first power play goal. Nearly had it there. As Misty Ray will play that puck, but it's picked up by the Thunderbirds initially, but now Keyser backtracks, and the captain has it, then lost it, and Chase Melnick will have to retreat and pick it up. She'll settle the puck, a fellow second year. Now to Sarah Cazell, one of the veterans for the Pandas. Now Haley Carruthers, backhand through the crease, just out off the, too far for Keyser. Needed a little bit more on that, but you could see the intent. Keyser was crashing on that backside. Nearly had it. 1:08 to go in the power play. One shot, which came at the very beginning from Holly Magnus, and it was of the highest possible quality. Abby Bordetti with a lot of speed up the left wing, looking for her first point on the year. And she'll get it back to the blue line, where it's shot by Smith, and that is swallowed up by Huygens for her 6th save. Definitely continuing the story of the last few games. Pandas power play doesn't look like they should be operating at 6.8%. They're moving the puck well, they're skating well, and creating good chances.
Yeah, just very unlucky. They've been able to get a lot of shots on net, and it's just, I mean, what can you say? Huygens is, she's really good. The numbers back it up.
And yet another 5th year. Well, she's only 3 shots away from facing as many shots as she did the entire first game she played the Pandas. As that pass evades Annie King, will have to retreat with 45 seconds to go on this power play. Now King with it, finds Bordetti up the left wing, who had some success earlier. This time at the end of his shift, she'll get it in deep, picked up by Reagan Udall. And back to the blue line, Riley Smith, who had a shot earlier. That one didn't miss by much. And I don't think Huygens saw that till very late. And now Morden tries to force the issue through the middle, and a little bit too much to take on, and Sandilands plays it all the way down as the power play dwindles inside 15 seconds. One last rush perhaps coming for the Pandas, and here is Morden up the left wing. And turns the puck over. Now Grace Elliott is offside in a break for the Pandas, but I guess it's the last person you want coming in. There is Grace Elliott, and she had some speed, and out of those 5 shorthanded goals for the Thunderbirds, she has 2 of them.
Wow, that's pretty good. And you don't want to see that 6'2" frame barreling down towards you if you're Misty Ray.
Able to avoid it though. 4 seconds to go on the power play. Face-off control by the Pandas. The penalty though is expired, so the Pandas 0 for 2. That pass does stay on net, and I think actually we might have an offside here. Yeah, it did look like Carruthers was just ahead of that, so it's going to come out to neutral ice. But 0 for 2 are the Pandas, but 2 good shots there for Alberta. 33 seconds to go in the period though, and actually the face-off is going to stay inside the Alberta zone. And it's been a good period for the Pandas so far. Just need that go-ahead goal. Haley Craig will take the face-off. Opposed by Vanessa Schaefer. And it's a tie-up, and then a quick shot out of seemingly nowhere by Carruthers, who does have a very quick release, but yet again matched by Huygens with her 7th save. You like it though, the quick release, because sometimes it seems this year the Pandas have tried to play for the perfect pass, the perfect shot. Sometimes you just got to get the puck on the net. Haley Craig. That face-off won, though, by UBC, and it's chased down by Cazell. Pressure coming from the Thunderbirds. Cazell hesitates, able to find Stanford, who gets it out to center ice. Now Craig with 14 seconds finds Carruthers, who just had that shot. Now to Craig, 10 seconds to go in the period. Back to the blue line in black. Across it moves to Melnick. Alberta needs to get it on net. That one blocked and make it through. Magnus skates up, trying to pick out the top corner, and it's high into the net, and the buzzer goes. But you liked a little bit of rush at the end there, and that puts exclamation mark on a period where the Pandas did everything but score, especially in that second half. They had the last 4 shots, and 0-0 the score, but you like what you see from Alberta.
Yeah, they're hanging in there, and definitely that last couple minutes there was a flurry of shots. Looked pretty crisp on the offensive end, and you know what? They've kept Haley Craig and Annalise Wong hemmed in, so they're doing a pretty good job so far.
And we'll go ahead and step aside for about 13 minutes or so. After 1 period of play, our score 0-0 between the undefeated and #1 UBC Thunderbirds and the host Alberta Pandas. He's Riley Turgeon, I'm Patrick Erickson, and you're watching Pandas Hockey on CBC and Canada West TV, powered by BioSteel.
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big step. Underground, I thought I was top-notch horse. Get the most, not the list. Straight tempo.
Founded in 1932, the Block A Club was an honorary society of the University Athletics Board, created to recognize male student athletes. These athletes were awarded the iconic evergreen sweaters, each featuring a large gold A, in recognition of their leadership, sportsmanship, and outstanding contributions to intercollegiate sports. But it wasn't until 1989 that female varsity athletes received the same recognition. Therefore, in 2016, University of Alberta Athletics launched an initiative to honor Pandas alumni who played 3 or more seasons but never received a Block A sweater during their time of competition. This year, the final group of these athletes is finally being honored.
To paraphrase Martin Luther King, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. After 35 years, we are the last group of female athletes to have finally caught up and received what we rightfully earned. The Block A is a symbol of camaraderie, excellence, and outstanding contributions to the University of Alberta. I don't really need a sweater to remember that, but wow, am I proud that I got one today.
The legacy of these athletes is about more than just breaking records. Their pioneering spirit and the bonds they formed have left a lasting impact, not just on the field, but in their lives and future generations.
We felt like we as a group could move together and do anything and be anything that we wanted to be. We felt no barriers when we were together, and I think it was a very important lesson that I've taken forward. Doesn't matter what anybody's telling you or saying to you, you can do whatever you want.
So for us to be able to give back to sport, I think a lot of us are here because it meant something then and it still means something now.
And I think then that I passed on some really good lessons to another generation of girls, because I coached girls, that then they'll carry on in their life and maybe take on later on and pass on to more girls. So I'd say that it creates a legacy that I think is something that we should all be really proud of.
For many of these women, being a panda means more than just competing in sports. It means belonging to a family bound by shared experiences, where the friendships formed decades ago still feel as strong today.
I can see Carrie, who I haven't seen in 38 years, and I feel like I saw you yesterday, and I think that's the power of being a panda, is where you go, what you do, you can always come back to that, and it's a great groundbreaking message that, hey, we're in this together, and we did this.
This friendship has been happening since the 80s, and we still spend time together, and we enjoy each other, and we love each other, and so it's friendships that are forged for life.
These women's contributions extend far beyond the playing field. They laid the foundation for future generations, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and open doors for others.
When you started, built, or you advanced your sport, you were creating a legacy. You opened doors, you broke barriers for hundreds of athletes after you, and you weren't just doing what you loved for yourself, you were changing the world for hundreds of people that you didn't even So friends, thank you for being part of this program. I just want to ask if you could raise a glass to us.
professional community. It sets you apart.
Like the number of laughs I've had with this group, the number of laughs I've had with guys that have graduated and moved on from our program, like those are all it's the characters, right?
I'm really lucky to have that support team around me, and we all are, and it's great to be able to push each other and support each other to higher heights.
It's a great feeling to get that championship, but I think it's just an even better feeling that we get it here at home, right here at the U of A.
10 years from now, I hope I'm still wearing the same sweater, sitting in the same bleachers, cheering whatever team is on the field in green and gold.
Abby Soyko, she scores!
Want to know the recipe for a great time? Green, gold, and Sherlock Holmes. It's the place to be before, during, and after the game, and it's right on campus. We continue to be a proud sponsor of Golden Bears and Pandas Athletics. Everyone has a Sherlock story. What's yours?
University of Alberta Athletics would like to thank the Students' Union and its Legacy Fund dedicated to the Golden Bears and Pandas for the continued support of our program.
Signatovich to Harp, Carey. She's going to try for her 8th three-pointer of the game, and she hits it! The bench erupts. Good hustle from Trinity once again to keep it alive. Read and weave!
Wow, what a play from the Bears there.
Moves up the rush with them. Here's Blue, drop back. Adam Hall touch scores! Adam Hall! Step one over. Deep got a man wide open. Touchdown! Golden Bears! Colby Herford wide open.
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big step. Underground method. Top-notch hoes get the most, nothing less. Straight to
Founded in 1932, the Block A Club was an honorary society of the University Athletics Board, created to recognize male student athletes. These athletes were awarded the iconic evergreen sweaters, each featuring a large gold A, in recognition of their leadership, sportsmanship, and outstanding contributions to intercollegiate sports. But it wasn't until 1989 that female varsity athletes received the same recognition. Therefore, in 2016, University of Alberta Athletics launched an initiative to honor Pandas alumni who played 3 or more seasons but never received a Block A sweater during their time of competition. This year, the final group of these athletes is finally being honored.
To paraphrase Martin Luther King, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. After 35 years, we are the last group of female athletes to have finally caught up and received what we rightfully earned. The Block A is so much.
And welcome back inside Clare Drake Arena, where the score between the University of Alberta Pandas and the UBC Thunderbirds after one period of play is 0-0, 7-5 the shots in favor of the Pandas. I'm Patrick Erickson, joined as always by my partner Riley Turgeon as we take a look at some of the first period highlights. Riley, more of your thoughts and potentially what kind of adjustments are you looking for from both sides after period number one?
Well, so far the Pandas have been able to neutralize the three-headed monster of Grace Elliott, Annalise Wong, and Jalen Morris for the UBC Thunderbirds there. But, you know, they've been playing a lot up on the boards, and I'm sure that forecheck is going to continue to try to stifle Grace Elliott and her compadres out there. But it's been kind of a back and forth sort of first period. Pandas got lucky with a couple sloppy passes up front in front of Misty Ray. Thunderbirds are going to look to take advantage of those sloppy passes because this is a veteran team and they know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those looks. One story that we are continuing to monitor, and you mentioned that three-headed monster, Jalen Morris had a wicked collision with Haley Carruthers very early on, and I don't believe I called her name after that, so we'll pay attention to see if she's comes back onto the ice at all, but that would be a huge loss for UBC. But also a big opportunity for the Pandas, who are missing one of their best players in Abby Soiko as well. You never want to see players get hurt, though, so we do hope that Morris is all right, but we'll continue to monitor that. But nothing our score. We'll take a look at the other scores from around Canada West. With just over under 8 minutes to go, Saskatchewan leading McEwen 1-0. That's a big one for the Pandas because McEwen is just 4 points behind them for the final playoff spot in Canada West Western Division standings. Calgary leading Manitoba midway through the second period, 1-0, and then Mount Royal and Trinity Western getting underway in just a few minutes' time. Again, the Pandas will welcome Trinity Western here next weekend, as we're about 20 seconds away. Any player in particular for the Pandas that you're looking for potentially to take that next step and get that go-ahead goal or that play that could lead to that goal?
Yeah, Jaden Morton's a name that always comes to the radar. She was such a prolific scorer last year. It's been kind of tough for her to get some pucks in the net, and with Soiko being out, Morton's definitely your offensive person you want to lean on. So look for some more opportunities for her to get the puck.
And Morton with 2 goals, but they came early on. Both her goals, by the way, on the power play, so we'd love to get her off the schneid from on the 5-on-5 side of things, which is what we'll start as. UBC 0 for 1 on the power play, Pandas 0 for 2. As we are set to get underway for period number 2, is the Pandas in white, the Thunderbirds in blue. Pandas left to right, Thunderbirds right to left across your screen. And we are underway as Holly Magnus, who had by far the best chance early on in that second power play, denied by the excellent Elise Huggins. And a turnover there, there's Keyser, and that shot stopped by Elliott. I mean, you got to be real impressed. Gracie Elliott had an unceremonious play near the end of the period where she just held the puck up, allowed her teammates to make the change. But right there, Natalie Keyser had a point-blank look as we're going to get an icing there. But Elliott came from behind the play, seemingly out of nowhere, used all of that 6-2 frame and blocked Keyser's shot.
I mean, with that kind of reach, she could be standing anywhere on the ice and swipe that puck away. And yeah, she's a magnificent player, and it kind of just showed right there how good she is.
And you do like to see, sometimes you get all those offensive stats, you neglect the defensive side of things, but not the case. And as evidenced by her 2 shorthanded goals, she plays a key role in the PK as well as everywhere else on the ice. As Wong can't quite get the puck out, and that takes a nasty little hop, but comes right to the stick of Jaden Morton, who will skate it in and take it behind the net and loses her feet, but gets the puck back after some help from Ryan Parrott. And now Parrott towards the net, and she'll get that shot in, covered up by Huggins. So the first shot of the period in favor of Alberta, and that's 4 straight now for the Pandas. As you'd like to see Parrott going, she's always one of those players who's always very active, has a lot of puck possession, and certainly one that can really cause a lot of problems for an opponent.
Yeah, definitely. She's kind of that glue wherever line she's situated on. She's always got the puck on her stick, and she is still looking for a goal.
The Haley Craig line, along with Carruthers and Stanford, out onto the ice now. And that puck not out, held in by Riley Smith. And now back to Smith, thought about the shot. Pass tipped behind by Carruthers instead, picked up by Carmen of UBC. And Stanford did a good job initially holding the play up, but the Thunderbirds do get it clear in a long skate, won by Alexandra Black, who was scratched both games against Mount Royal, but playing today. And again, Braden Stewart, who had played every game of her first year, is a scratch today. Not sure if there's a little bit of an injury or something else, but Braden Stewart out. And a big collision right in front of the Thunderbirds bench as Thorpe taken down to the ice, Ashton Thorpe. And a loud cry from the bench is answered as Stanford's going to go to the box for 2.
Yeah, that's an even easier call for the ref when you got an audience behind you making some noise. So
every player, you'll take a good look at it here because the play was right in front of it, and watch all of those hands go up by the Thunderbirds. Yeah, collision there. So the Pandas were good on their first PK. They're going to have to do it again here. As we are set to get underway on the penalty kill, face-off controlled by the Thunderbirds. You did generate 2 shots on that power play. And there is Elliott from the right face-off circle, patiently moving it across. There is Morris. So she is back, has her shot blocked. So good to see her back on the ice again. Didn't play a ton in the first period after a really nasty collision, but taking the shot from distance there. Big rebound follow-up. I'm not sure where that puck is, but somehow picked up by UBC. Back to Morris at the blue line. And yet again, thought about the shot. Finds Wong instead. Now Morris again. Now to Elliott, left face-off circle. And an awkward little chop at it behind the net. Played, though, by the Thunderbirds. Magnus knocks a player to the ice, and then we're going to be at 5-on-3 here in a minute. And no, we won't, because that's a goal from Morris. And so it's going to be a power play goal, and then immediately another power play as things unravel in about a 2-minute sequence for the Pandas. And the Thunderbirds draw first blood, lead 1-0.
Yep, there's that 3-headed monster. Jalen Morris up top. Just whistles it right past the ears of Misty Ray there. Wide open shot for her. Great look.
Not a lot more. You can't really blame Misty on that. There was nobody within 10 feet of Morris and about 6 bodies right on top of Misty Ray. And so the goal and then another penalty as we get all that sorted out. As I think it was Holly Magnus who's going to be the guilty party. Certainly looked like the player who made the hit. No, it's going to be 13, sorry. Well, there is no 13 is a healthy scratch, so that's incorrect. They have on the board right now, so we'll figure that out. But 1-0 to score, and that's the 6th goal of the year for Jalen Morris, 4 of which have been on the power play. Referees still trying to work out who's going to the box. They have 13, they might mean 93, which would mean Jaden Morden. We're trying to figure things out here as they're trying to figure things out down there. And I guess it'll give, if you're UBC, their top power play unit had been out there for almost a minute shift, and they get a nice little breather now.
Yeah, that's it's a little more time for them to dial up another play. And can I just say that the refs, after a very physical first period, they've been cracking down so far on some more of the physical play this period.
Yeah, they let a lot go. Okay, 73, so it is Holly Magnus. Go with your gut. And the face-off at center ice after the goal, and the Pandas able to force the issue momentarily. And a good play by Udall forces the puck back, but picked up by Morris, looking for Elliott, who's able to tip it in, and will ride Chase Melnick into the corner. Melnick's at 5'6", Elliott at 6'2". And a pass from Wong, a little bit too hot to handle for Zinger. And that puck knocked away. Again, UBC bodies going down to the ice. And again, the bench asking for a call. This time, none forthcoming. Elliott, though, remains on the puck. Going for a long skate. Now finds the goal scorer, Morris. The pass that was intended for Zinger, knocked aside by Udall and into the corner. And battle ensues with Melnick. Comes away to Bordetti. And good job by her to get it all the way down. And the Pandas get a needed change. First time they've actually cleared the puck on any of the PKs. They defended the entire first one successfully, it should be added, without the puck ever clearing their zone. And that puck, though, picked off by Haley Craig. And now the Pandas a chance, but don't have numbers, so Craig opts to go to the corner, has it stripped away. Rosari pinches up, though, and is able to keep the puck pinned down in the UBC zone for now. Craig and 3 Thunderbirds as well in there. UBC comes away with it. Rosari continuing to harass the puck. Then here come the Thunderbirds. They'll get it in up their left side. Back to Perrier, who missed a shorthanded opportunity early on in the first period. The puck's still loose. Second power play unit out there right now for UBC. 20 seconds to go on the Magnus Minor, which comes right after a power play goal for the Thunderbirds that came from Morris, and that's how we're at 1-0 after a scoreless first. And there's the rebound control. That rebound was absolutely massive, and Olivia Buckley had the entire net to shoot at and makes no mistake. And so back-to-back power play markers, that one with just 4 seconds to go. And it's 2-0 UBC just like that.
Yeah, and I know we talked about it earlier, how rebounds have been a bugaboo for this team all season, and they've looked good up until this point, but that's too easy right there. That was all the net in the world that Buckley needed to put that one past Ray. She completely lost that puck.
And the entire defense, I think, thought the puck was on the other side. Everyone, so for that matter, so did the entire UBC team, except for Olivia Buckley, who made no mistake. And we're at 2-0, second goal of the year for Buckley, and her first power play goal of the year. So 2-0 UBC after scoreless first period, and the Pandas had played a good first period, and now they're on the ropes as UBC trying to really turn the screws there, and a couple of good saves by Ray keeps us at 2-0, but this is danger time if you're a Panda.
Yeah, this team is looking a little more confident now, 2 straight goals, and Pandas are starting to feel the heat a little bit.
I'm not sure what UBC and 13th year head coach Graham Thomas said in their locker room, but it has certainly paid dividends in the opening 4 minutes of period number 2 with 2 power play markers and a couple of good looks there. And another good look for Grace Elliott there, saved by Ray. And the Pandas able to not quite get it out. Emma Power in a battle, can't get it out though. And it'll stay in. Now Schaefer's shot turned aside by Ray. 9th save for her. And now Melnick will be the one to try to skate it out, and the Pandas do successfully exit. Now here comes Emma Power, and she'll hand it off to Magnus, guilty of the penalty in the second one, and that does get through, albeit with a big deflection, covered up by Huggins, who makes her 10th save of the evening. So it wasn't the first couple minutes of the first period. The Pandas had a great first period overall, but the first couple minutes of period number 2, much the same narrative as it's been. And now the Pandas will need a response against the undefeated #1 team in the country. But it is a team the Pandas played almost dead even in the first game of the year. 3-0 loss for the Pandas, but it was 1-0, 2 empty net goals in the final minute. Put the final touches on it. The Pandas were right there. So they know they can play with this team, but they're going to have to find goals without their leading scorer, Abby Soyko, who was a scratch for this game. A lot of energy and encouragement, though, coming from that Alberta bench. All that noise you can hear right now is emanating from the home bench, trying to will their team back into it as Haley Craig skates it up and backhands it deep. And the Pandas will change it up. Carruthers pursues. And now with some help from Stanford. Both of them going off at the end of long shifts. Well, Stanford's going to stay on. The puck, though, out to center ice. Controlled by King. Now finds Bordetti. Bordetti all by herself into the zone. Taken down. Puck was well away, though. And now Morris, the scorer of the first goal, in control. That first goal from Morris, by the way, only assisted by Grace Elliott. Picks up her 4th point of the season against the Pandas. All in the last 2 games, and the assists on the Olivia Buckley goal is we get a penalty call here where Cassidy Rose and Ashton Thorpe, both their first assists of the year, but it looks like the Pandas are going to get their 3rd opportunity here on the power play as we wait to see who goes to the box. Is it Church? No, they're pulling somebody back off the UBC bench to head in. It's going to be Carmen. And so it'll be a power play for the Pandas, who've generated some good chances, but you really need it now. This is golden opportunity for Alberta to cut this one in half.
Yeah, now's the time. They've looked pretty crisp on the power play. It's just all about capitalizing here.
And it was Holly Magnus who had a point-blank look at the start of the last power play. 0 for 2 are the Pandas on the power play, but 3 shots, all of high quality. And that shot, a good deflection there, but missed high. Pandas have been needing that. More traffic in front of opposing goaltenders, and Holly Magnus's deflection didn't miss by a ton. And now Magnus, part of the scrap along with Carruthers and Keyser. Carruthers able to get it back. Melnick steps into a shot, but it's blocked. And Cazell has to retreat behind 2 UBC players. was looking for a penalty of her own, doesn't get the call, and UBC is able to force it back out. Again, UBC has 5 shorthanded goals on the year, looking for another one. Big rebound off Ray, and it's kept in by the Thunderbirds. Another save for Ray. And second shorthanded shot of the day for UBC. Udall just onto the ice. Pass finds her, but then she's sandwiched between 2 Thunderbirds, and they clear it right back down. Penalty halfway over. No shots for the Pandas, 1 though for UBC. Annie King will find Bordetti up the right wing with speed. Ushered into the corner though, and bodies collide. Referee's whistle went to her mouth for a second, and then nothing happened. So no penalty forthcoming either way. Could have been on either player. Shot that time knocked aside by a UBC defender, and they're going to get a clear here with 20 seconds to go on the man advantage. No shots so far for the Pandas. Yeah, this is the top rank. Besides the 5 shorthanded goals, UBC's 92.8% on the PK is tops in Canada West. And that is offside, so we'll come back to center ice here with 9 seconds to go on the penalty. Special teams again, the difference so far. 2 power play goals for the Thunderbirds and 9 seconds away for an 0-for-3 start for the Pandas.
Yeah, looking a little disjointed on this power play after 2 pretty strong showings earlier.
And the face-off controlled by UBC, and that will kill off the last few seconds as they get the puck in deep. And Carmen is back onto the ice. Right to the bench, replaced by Grace Elliott. Ryan Parrott now up the right wing, pursued by Elliott. Parrott gets it in deep and finds Morden. And she has it knocked away from her momentarily. Now picked up by Parrott. Throws it back to the blue line to Smith. Now Clouston from the slot. Didn't get all of that. It was a good look there. Clouston tried to rush the shot, and now back on the Thunderbirds. And a good little drop pass that time. Schaefer, and that took a deflection, didn't get in on net. Played by Kate Williams to Clouston up the left wing. Clouston able to get it out to center ice. Pandas completing a partial change. And Morris from about the red line able to get it in on Ray, and then Grace Elliott ensures that Ray doesn't get the puck back into play, and we'll have a face-off here in the Thunderbirds offensive zone.
Yeah, you could tell that Ray thought about dropping that puck, but as soon as she saw 26 coming towards her, better think again.
Again, the little things. Elliott goes off at the end of a long shift, but little things like that differentiate you, make a great player into a truly special one. And that's the 3rd or 4th time that she's done something small that's really helped her team out. Also has the assist on the what stands as the winning goal right now, as Magnus went down really hard off the play. Was very frustrated, and we got a cross-checking as the referee furthest away from the play is going to make the call, and the Pandas are going to go right back on the power play, as that's Maya Healy who's going to head to the box. So Pandas aren't short of power play opportunities as you take a look there, as Magnus just absolutely got clobbered.
Yeah, ouch. That can't feel good. And once again, another opportunity for the Pandas on the power play here. Let's see if they can work some magic.
Didn't get a shot on the last one, did give up a shot. And UBC gets the early clear. And you can see right here as Perrier quickly down the ice, that pressure they really like to apply, and it forces a pass like that, which is going to be an icing, and we're going to head back the other way. So Perrier, as soon as that puck was cleared, she went from the opposite blue line all the way down, and that pressure forces a play like that. And again, it's those little things from a team full of 5th years that can really make the difference.
Yeah, they have no fear. They don't feel threatened at all by this power play, so they're going to keep pinching up and up and up and applying that pressure, and yeah, it's working in their favor so far.
Clean face-off win for Alberta. Morden won it, but the puck turns over to UBC, and Jacqueline Fleming, who's taken down with no call. And the Pandas will settle things down here. Keyser just onto the ice along with Parrott, who's in control of the puck, heading up the right wing. Gathers some speed, tries to get it in. Carmen cuts that pass off. And it comes back out. Good play by Carmen. Now Baird with it, one-on-one. And that shot didn't get all of it as it was deflected by Cazell, but did get it in, and Ray sticked it aside. But now the Pandas come up, and good play but from behind. Baird stripped that off, lost the puck in the end, but did prevent the Pandas from exiting the zone momentarily. Now Keyser in. She loses the puck after getting sandwiched by a couple Thunderbirds, and the puck worked right back out. 50 seconds to go on the advantage, and still no shots on this one either for the Pandas. Pandas power play looked pretty good, albeit without the goal in the first period, but through 3 minutes and 23 seconds in the second period, they have not been able to register a shot, and they won't there either as that puck was offside. Pandas have 2 shots in this period through 11 minutes after 7 in the first period. A lot of the credit, though, goes to UBC. They do a good job at making things difficult. But certainly you can see it. You can sense an air of frustration kind of creeping in a little bit on Alberta.
Yeah, definitely. They've kind of hit a wall at this point, and I know they really want to cash in here on this power play. So they still got some time left.
Looking for that spark, a player looking to deliver it, and Rosari could be that spark, forces the turnover, and the Pandas hold the zone. So now Riley Smith couldn't connect on that. And Bordetti now finding Rosari back behind, looking for the return, and Bordetti was knocked down off the puck. Penalty expiring, and it is officially over. No shots on that one either. Pandas 0 for 4 on the day on the advantage. Both teams changing it up here. And that does almost encourage the team to play a little bit more physical, knowing, well, regardless of the opponent, the fact that UBC can penalty kill at 93%, you can play with a little bit more of an edge knowing that you have such a good PK unit.
Yeah, definitely. And they're just going to keep flexing that muscle because they know this is a non-threat for them. So,
well, they're about to go back on the penalty on the power play as just an absolute massive hit laid on by Sarah Cazell, and it's blown dead. But Cazell absolutely blasted Wong, and she's going to head to the box. And the Pandas, who have yielded 2 power play goals in this period, are going to have to kill it off without one of their top defensemen in Sarah Cazell. You can take a look at the penalty there. And, yeah, Cazell gets beat up the wing, and my bad, it was not. Oh, it was Wong. Yeah, Wong taken down. Wong's got a lot of speed that draws that penalty. 7:43 to go in the period. Thunderbirds looking for their 3rd goal of the period. And now Wong, across it comes, and that one sticked away. Not sure if it was by Ray or a defenseman, but it did flash across the crease dangerously. Morris gets it deep to Wong. Elliott from the slot, and you can see she didn't get all of that. Is Ray able to glove that one without too much of a problem? Elliott had a good look, but you can definitely tell that she didn't quite connect as well as she would have wanted.
No. And you can see her lurking there. She wants one tonight. She loves playing against the Pandas, and she wants to score one tonight. You can feel it.
And your 3-headed monsters, you've coined them, and Wong, Morris, and Elliott were all on that left side of the ice, forcing that issue, and the Pandas had to choose between the 3.
It's a pick your poison, really.
And the Thunderbirds continue to pin the Pandas in here on the power play. Elliott forces the puck around, picked up by Wong, back to Morris. And her pass a little bit too strong, but still picked up by Zinger. Back to Morris. And back to Wong from the left face-off circle, try to pick up the top corner. Not in on net. Oh, they do say it was on net, so saved by Ray. Might have taken a deflection on the way through as well. Back to Morris from the blue line, steps up. That hit Magnus, and then the loose puck handled by Ray and covered up. Minute 04 off the penalty, 56 seconds to go, and the Pandas get a needed change. And so much of what makes a power play successful is when you can have these extended shifts. And the Thunderbirds have played essentially the entirety of their now 5 power play minutes in the Pandas offensive zone.
Yeah, and that's just really hard on the people defending that. The attrition starts to set in, and it's getting tougher to defend.
And they do well there, though, and Ray covers it up. A few more seconds creep off. And we'll do it one more time. 52 seconds to go on the Gazelle Minor. 6:35 to go in the period. 2-0 the Thunderbirds lead off of 2 power play markers in this second period, trying to make it a hat trick. And one back to the blue line where Thorpe has it. Thought about the shot, gets the return. Thought about the shot, does shoot it again, and it didn't make it through. I'm not sure if it was Udall or Smith who got a body on it. A good job to get in the lane nonetheless. Thunderbirds do hold the zone though. And they spread the ice nicely, and right there it is to the back post, and we have a goal. That time it's Olivia Buckley again. So Buckley, who only had 1 goal and none on the power play coming into today, has 2 power play goals in this period, and it's 3-0 UBC. And the goal was good, but this little pass right there off Cassidy Rhodes, who also assisted the last one, that's awfully nice. And
what a feed. What a feed. And yeah, Buckley, she's had 2 pretty easy goals tonight. Both have been kind of wide open net for her, so credit to her for putting it back. And yeah, just another tough one for the defense there.
Another one that was in the last 20 seconds of the power play. The last one was in the last 5 seconds. That one with about 14 seconds to go. So 3-0, and the Pandas have themselves a whale of a task against the top team in the nation. Audrey Church couldn't get that shot up, and the Pandas now will try to exit. Nice little cross-ice pass. Gazelle finds Magnus, who deflects it on to Morden, who is stymied by Carmen, and back come the Thunderbirds. Pandas are changing it up and do retrieve the puck. Now Carruthers now finds Craig up the right wing. She'll opt to get it in deep, pursued by Stanford. With Craig for company, now to Elliott. For the Thunderbirds, they're able to exit the zone. Nice touch pass by Wong. That time to find Zinger, and the shot there deflects not too far wide of Misty Ray's right post. Puck not out, and there is Wong yet again. No points for her, but she's been so active in this game. Drew the penalty that led to the last goal and has made some really good plays to set things up, and then just a loose puck there, deflects in, finds Wong, and puck is loose and scored, and it's another rebound cashed home as Ray made the initial stop, but the rebound was juicy, and once again UBC makes no mistake, and it's getting into a runaway. That's Vanessa Schaefer with the goal, and it's 4-0 Thunderbirds here. All the goals coming in this period.
Man, these rebounds are just the Thunderbirds are just feasting off these rebounds right now. It's too easy for them. This veteran team, they know what they're doing, and it looks like Misty Ray's getting the hook.
We got, I think we're getting a timeout here, so we'll see if it's that. But Mackenzie Dojon has stepped onto the ice, so it does look to be what is going to happen. So Ray, who started off pretty strong, made her first 6 saves, has allowed 4 goals in the last 13 shots, and a couple of them she had no chance on, but a couple of rebounds that you'd like to have back, and it'll be Mackenzie Dojon who will replace her. And Coach Draper using the timeout. As you can see, that's a very animated, we're looking at the UBC bench, but I'm looking straight down at the Alberta bench right now. That's a very animated Coach Draper, who's usually very cool, calm, and collected. He really picks his moments of when he gets fired up, and this is one of those moments as UBC has put 4 past the Pandas in this period.
Yeah, on home ice too. This is the time to light a fire, and I'm sure these Pandas right now, they don't want to give up this fight just yet. But this has been the 2 pertaining issues of the Pandas all season. They can't capitalize on the power play, and getting the rebounds off of shots for the goalies. Those have been their biggest. They've been snake bitten all year by those 2 things, and UBC is a great team, and they've done their scouting, and they know what they're doing out there.
Yeah. You don't need to give UBC any help, and it's 4-0, so it is time to gut check time to try to see what the Pandas have, and good job by Morden to skate really hard into the zone, and then a wraparound went wide, but you like the energy there from Morden, one of the assistant captains for the Pandas, who are able to hold the line for now. Parrott gets it deep, found, and now Morden back with it. Pressure applied, now Parrott with it. Gazelle steps up, UBC able to force the issue back out though, and now Cassidy Rhodes, who has 2 assists in the period, both on the power play, chasing that one off. And UBC setting up. Just 2 shots in the period as well for Alberta. 9 in the game. And that one didn't get through to Dojon. And Church's shot knocked down by Udall, another one of the assistant captains. So you can see the energy there for the Pandas from a couple of their leaders. Now got to string a couple of good shifts together. And Sandilands with it. And it works back to Thorpe to the blue line. This puck movement by the Thunderbirds is so fast as Dojon knocks aside that shot from El Lorenz. First year, played every game of the season. One of the few young players for the Thunderbirds. What a learning opportunity to play with a roster that's over half fifth years. 3 minutes to go in the second period. Our score remains 4-0 UBC. As they play from behind the Pandas net. As they work it back to the blue line. It's been a very long shift right now for this Alberta 5 out here. And Pandas really would like to get the puck out to get some fresh bodies onto the ice.
Feels like a power play right now.
It does. Still good energy coming from that Pandas bench. And Pandas do a good job to play the puck out. And here is Udall, hooked from behind by Healy. No penalty called, though. But she did get the clear, and that allows the Pandas to get 4 of the 5 changed out. And they'll get the other one here in just a moment. And that shot deflected off of Black, high. And bodies collide and fall off the puck. Riley Smith went down. Now she has the puck. Good to see her back on her feet quickly. And now Keyser in a battle with it. And it'll be held in by the Thunderbirds. That shot easily gloved down by Dojon, who's made 2 saves in quick succession since relieving Misty Ray, and a chance for the Pandas to change out their skaters one more time. With $1:52 to go in period 2, 4-0 our score remains. And right now, you just like, if you're the Pandas, something to hang your hat on heading into that locker room. You've already seen Coach Draper just nicely say, fire up his team. It's something to take a positive message into that locker room. And Carruthers does have it up the left wing. Tried to go around 2, didn't have any help, and the puck comes back, though, to Haley Craig, who does get it deep. And now Stanford able to pursue the puck, held by Morris, who scored the opener at the beginning of what seemed to be eons ago now of a 4-goal Thunderbirds second period. As the puck ties up in the Pandas' left corner as we edge towards a minute to go. And now coming out is Olivia Buckley, who is on a hat trick after her 2 power play markers. She'll play it in deep, picked up by Black. Finds Smith. Stands on the pass and stripped to the puck. And now Grace Elliott finds Long right between the face-off circles. Play there by Black to keep it away, though, from Schaefer. And now Carmen from deep. That one didn't miss by much off the right post. Dojon watched it whistle wide. Carmen got that off the feet from Elliott. 25 seconds to go. And a wicked deflection off of Elliott. Didn't go wide by much. Elliott picks it back up, tried to force the issue, could not. But UBC and Wong maintaining control of the puck. Looking for one last opportunity to put a big exclamation mark on a terrific second period. And good job that time by Carruthers. First with the stick and then with the shot block to prevent any final shot getting on, but mercifully the period comes to the end. If you're the Pandas, a 4-goal period for UBC, 3 of them coming on the power play, and there's going to be some soul searching done in that Pandas locker room in the second intermission, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. This is just a veteran team that knows what they're doing out there, and they've kind of caught the Pandas looking a little lost. The biggest thing to take away from this is the Pandas have had their scoring chances. They've had plenty of power play, and they just can't seem to really garner any kind of offense. So, that was a nice little closeout there defensively to make sure they didn't get a shot off, but I'm sure they're coming back in this third period with the mindset that it's a 0-0 game, because that's really all you can do at this point.
Yeah, that's what you got to play for, and then if things happen, things happen. But our score after 2 periods of play, UBC 4, Alberta nothing. All 4 goals coming in the second period for Riley Turgeon. I'm Patrick Erickson. We'll see you back shortly for period number 3 as you continue to watch Pandas hockey on CBC and Canada West TV, powered by BioSteel.
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big step. Top-notch horse, get the most, not the list. Straight terror.
Founded in 1932, the Block A Club was an honorary society of the University Athletics Board, created to recognize male student athletes. These athletes were awarded the iconic evergreen sweaters, each featuring a large gold A, in recognition of their leadership, sportsmanship, and outstanding contributions to intercollegiate sports. But it wasn't until 1989 that female varsity athletes received the same recognition. Therefore, in 2016, University of Alberta Athletics launched an initiative to honor Pandas alumni who played 3 or more seasons but never received a Block A sweater during their time of competition. This year, the final group of these athletes is finally being honored.
To paraphrase Martin Luther King, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. After 35 years, we are the last group of female athletes to have finally caught up and received what we rightfully earned. The Block A is a symbol of camaraderie, excellence, and outstanding contributions to the University of Alberta. I didn't need a sweater to remember that, but wow, am I proud that I got one today.
The legacy of these athletes is about more than just breaking records. Their pioneering spirit and the bonds they formed have left a lasting impact, not just on the field, but in their lives and future generations.
We felt like we as a group could move together and do anything and be anything that we wanted to be. We felt no barriers when we were together, and I think it was a very important lesson that I've taken forward. Doesn't matter what anybody's telling you or saying to you, you can do whatever you want.
So for us to be able to give back to sport, I think a lot of us are here because it meant something then and it still means something now.
And I think then that I passed on some really good lessons to another generation of girls, because I coached girls, that then they'll carry on in their life and maybe take on later on and pass on to more girls. So I'd say that it creates a legacy that I think is something that we should all be really proud of.
For many of these women, being a panda means more than just competing in sports. It means belonging to a family bound by shared experiences, where the friendships formed decades ago still feel as strong today.
I can see Carrie, who I haven't seen in 38 years, and I feel like I saw you yesterday. And I think that's the power of being a panda, is where you go, what you do. You can always come back to that, and it's a great groundbreaking message that, hey, we're in this together, and we did this.
This friendship has been happening since the 80s, and we still spend time together, and we enjoy each other and we love each other. And so it's friendships that are forged for life.
These women's contributions extend far beyond the playing field. They laid the foundation for future generations, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and open doors for others.
When you started, built, or you advanced your sport, you were creating a legacy. You opened doors, you broke barriers for hundreds of athletes after you, and you weren't just doing what you loved for yourself, you were changing the world for hundreds of people that you didn't even know. So friends, thank you for being part of this program. I just want to ask if you could raise a glass to us. 48 years, not 38 years.
exceptional community. It sets you apart.
Like the number of laughs I've had with this group, the number of laughs I've had with guys that have graduated and moved on from our program, like those are all it's the characters, right?
I'm really lucky to have that support team around me, and we all are, and it's great to be able to push each other and support each other to higher heights.
It's a great feeling to get that championship, but I think it's just an even better feeling that we get it here at home, right here at the U of A.
10 years from now, I hope I'm still wearing the same sweater, sitting in the same bleachers, cheering whatever team is on the field in green and gold.
Abby Soy, go! She
Want to know the recipe for a great time? Green, gold, and Sherlock Holmes. It's the place to be before, during, and after the game, and it's right on campus. We continue to be a proud sponsor of Golden Bears and Pandas Athletics. Everyone has a Sherlock story. What's yours?
University of Alberta Athletics would like to thank the Students' Union and its Legacy Fund dedicated to the Golden Bears and Pandas for the continued support of our program.
To Harp, Carey. She's going to try for her 8th three-pointer of the game, and she hits it! The bencher-ups! Good hustle from Trinity once again to keep it alive. Great and weave!
Wow, what a play from the Bears there.
Moves up in the rush with them. Here's Blue, drop back. Out of all top scores! Out of the hole! Steph, deep by the man, wide open! Touchdown! Golden Bears! Colby Herford! Wide open!
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big step. Underground method, top-notch hoes, get the most, not the least. Straight tempo.
Founded in 1932, the Block A Club was an honorary society of the University Athletics Board, created to recognize male student athletes. These athletes were awarded the iconic evergreen sweaters, each featuring a large gold A, in recognition of their leadership, sportsmanship, and outstanding contributions to intercollegiate sports. But it wasn't until 1989 that female varsity athletes received the same recognition. Therefore, in 2016, University of Alberta Athletics launched an initiative to honor Pandas alumni who played 3 or more seasons but never received a Block A sweater during their time of competition. This year, the final group of these athletes is finally being honored.
To paraphrase Martin Luther King, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. After 35 years, we are the last group of female athletes to have finally caught up and received what we rightfully earned. The Block A is a symbol of camaraderie, excellence, and outstanding contributions to the University of Alberta. I didn't need a sweater to remember that, but wow, am I proud that I got one today.
The legacy of these athletes is about more than just breaking records. Their pioneering spirit and the bonds they formed have left a lasting impact, not just on the field, but in their lives and future generations.
And welcome back inside Clare Drake Arena, where our score after 2 periods of play is the UBC Thunderbirds 4, Alberta 0. As all 4 goals coming in that second period, as we take a look at that second period where it was 3 power play goals, 2 of them very early on, and then a late 5-on-5 marker. And what had been a very competitive game, and you might even say Alberta edged that first period, just totally dominated in period number 2 by UBC.
Yeah, definitely. The Thunderbirds kind of let out a scoring avalanche, and the Pandas got caught up in that. For the Pandas, though, you know, take it one play at a time. 4-0 isn't insurmountable. Once you get that first goal, you know, it starts to become a little easier. The pressure starts to dissipate a bit, and I'm sure that's what excuse me, I'm sure that's what Coach Draper is telling the girls right now, or it was in the locker room.
Yeah, I had a very animated conversation after the fourth goal. He called his timeout, and everyone over on the bench, and there was a bit of a response you could see, especially from Jaden Morden and Reagan Udall. They put in a lot of effort there, and they're going to need more of that because this is where, you know, we talked about UBC is probably the most veteran team in the country, and Alberta did lose quite a bit from last year's Canada West champions, but there's still a lot of those leaders here that the Pandas have that can and need to help this team step up here and at least get some positive momentum, because these two teams play again tomorrow, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and you got to have that short-term memory if you're the Pandas. However this game plays out, you know, you still got tomorrow's game. You still face them one more time next year as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the BC Thunderbirds.
4-0 to score. We'll just recap the scoring here. It was Jalen Morris who came back after getting knocked up pretty good off of a big collision with Haley Carruthers in the first period. She scored a power play marker to open the scoring. Olivia Buckley with 2 power play goals. And then Vanessa Schaefer with an even strength goal. Those are the 4 goals. 16-2, UBC outshot Alberta in that second period of play. Scores from around the rest of Canada West. Saskatchewan wins over McEwen 2-0. Calgary leading Manitoba 1-0 with about 9 minutes to go. And after 1 period of play, Mount Royal and Trinity Western are scoreless. On the men's side of things, the Golden Bears are out in Vancouver right now. After 1 period of play, they trail UBC 2-0. But we are set now for period number 3. Alberta in their white, heading right to left. UBC in their blues, heading left to right. How will the Pandas respond after a tough second period? We're about to find out as we are underway in period 3. As right back down the other way comes Grace Elliott, and her shot's knocked away by Annie King. Made sure that didn't get in on Mackenzie Dojon, who did again come in relief of Misty Ray after that 4th goal, made 2 saves. As the Pandas with the quick shift, getting fresh bodies out, and that pass finds Elliott, who uses that long reach of hers, and then that shot kicked aside by Dojon. First 2 saves might have been pretty easy. That one was of a high quality as Dojon, facing UBC for the first time in her career, makes a big stop on Canada's U Sports reigning National Player of the Year. And Parrott swats that one into the corner. Wong taken down off the puck. Nothing coming of that, and that pass finds Parrott. And now she skates in, hands it off to Callie Clouston, who tries to backhand it towards Parrott in the net. Held in nicely by Riley Smith. Clouston spins, and the puck eventually comes away and cleared out by Morris. Well, now it's forced out, finds Elliott. He was able to get it over towards the Pandas bench, but Black throws it right back in, and that is a shot covered by Huggins. So there's your 10th shot of the evening for the Pandas. And a chance for an offensive zone draw here just over a minute into period number 3. Haley Craig takes the face-off, ties it up, 50-50. UBC now in possession. Spinning away with it is Zinger, and able to play it hard off the boards and out to Cassie Rhodes, who has 2 assists in the game. Able to get it in deep, but it's picked off by the Pandas, and Haley Craig now to Melnick. Her pass picked up in the end by Zinger, harassed by Carruthers. UBC able to hold on to the puck for now, and they do force it out to center ice. Annie King quickly back up to Stanford, who backhands it into the crowd. And we'll have a neutral zone face-off here as both teams change it up. Start to this period feels a little bit like the start to the first period, which is kind of choppy and a little bit slower. The Pandas did really kind of turn on the gas towards the end of that. Again, they had the last 4 shots of the first period, outshot UBC 7-5 in the opening period, but 2 early penalties and power play goals put them in a tough spot in the second period, and UBC poured it on after that. Kate Williams pass hard and not quite enough on net, and it'll be icing. Will come back the other way for UBC offensive zone draw.
Yeah, I would have thought both of these teams would have, especially the Pandas, would have come out screaming across the ice, but it's kind of been a bit of a lull so far, so we'll see if both teams can pick up the pace here.
Big offensive zone draw for Berdetti, but it goes the way of UBC back to the blue line. And Morris plays it around the boards, just out of the reach of King. There it's now held by Healy, and she'll play it back to the other side towards Rosari. Again, played for UBC last year, made the switch out to Edmonton this year. Played just 1 game for the Thunderbirds in her lone season in Vancouver. Has played in every game for the Pandas this year. Kate Williams with it, plays it back to King. And King finds Udall, but she has it picked off from behind by Baird. And the puck just held in by Baird. Rosari tried to force it out, but still held in. Baird goes off. Morris with the puck. Harassed by Rosari. Evades the pressure and now gets it deep to Perrier. And now to Madison Weeb. And out it works now, shot from the blue line, and a lot of traffic in front of Dojan, who blockers that one aside. Saw that one late, but made a good save, her second of the period, 4th of the evening. Not sure if it'll be her or Grace Glover who will start tomorrow, but if it's Dojan, she's getting a good first taste of it and made a couple of sharp saves in this period so far. Annie King unable to control the puck initially, but on second asking gets it out to center ice. But right back to UBC. The Pandas are changing, but so are the Thunderbirds. They almost caught Alberta in the change there. And Magnus from behind tried to pick the puck off. And with some help, Emma Power does. And now she'll play it off the boards to herself. And works that puck in deep. Now Alberta trying to set up the forecheck. And a good job by Power to hold it in initially. And then Magnus picks the puck up, and we got players down in front of the Alberta bench, and they blow the play dead. So we'll see if we got a penalty coming here, or if it's just players down on the ice. Yeah, we're gonna have a penalty. And it looks like Sandilands who's heading to the box. So here comes power play number 5 for Alberta. And a chance to do something here. They, again, looked pretty good on the power play in the first period, but not so much in period 2.
Just thinking about it, if they were clicking on all cylinders for the other 4, we could have had a tie game here. So kind of a missed opportunity, but let's see if they can get something going on this 5th one.
Special teams are the story coming in, and it continues to be so when UBC is 3 for 4 on the power play and Alberta is 0 for 4. And a good first clear by UBC, and there comes flying out of the box like she did earlier, Perrier, harassing the puck.
2 minutes for roughing. 4 minutes.
Long pass to Parrott, evades pressure, and will head to the corner. Harassed by Pepler. Now Morden in a tie-up with it. Clouston and Parrott in there as well for the Pandas. Morris battling. It comes away to Alberta. Oof. They had Annie King for a second. They opt to play it back behind the net. Now it's Morden with it in the left face-off circle. Hands it off. Shot from distance, and that one's tipped in, and maybe a second shot there on the follow-up. Both handled by Huggins, but there you go. It's a bit better by the Pandas. Maybe it's just this side of the ice. If we spent a lot of time staring to our left in the 3 periods combined, and the Pandas early on here get a good look and a good save by Huggins, who covers it up at the end.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Pandas would really love to score on this one. It's been a weight on their shoulders for most of the season, really. So, I mean, how good would that feel to get a goal on this power play?
Yep. And sometimes, and we're going to get another penalty here and it's going to be on Alberta as they blow it dead once Cazell touched the puck up. So I'll put a pin in that. And is it going to be Keyser who's headed off? It looks like it is. Keyser, the captain, will head to the box, and we'll play 4-on-4 hockey. Take a look at what happened there. Yeah, there she is going into the corner, and just trying to make a play on the puck. Nothing vicious in that, but does body up Thorpe, and it's right up against the boards. It can be a bit dangerous, and the referees blow that one. And so Keyser into the box, and we'll play 4-on-4 for 1:10, and then an abbreviated Thunderbirds power play. Face-off won by the Pandas, controlled by Cazell, and gets it to Magnus, who's able to get that up. So Keyser didn't talk about it. Well, we'll get back to that in a second, as Morris, the defenseman, made a really nice spinning play there, and Dojon equal to the task, but Morris, looking like a forward playing from the blue line there, forces a good save from Dojon. And now Pepler. And a big rebound there, saved initially by Dojon, but she was handcuffed. And Grace Elliott still fighting, thinking the puck is in the crease. And it does clear out, and the Pandas will now try to clear it up the left. Cazell, though, will reverse course and opt to slow things up a bit as Alberta's changing out the forwards. But Keyser had 8 of her 16 penalty minutes on the year against UBC in Vancouver. Her first penalty this one, but that's more than half her penalty minutes this season so far have come against the Thunderbirds.
She really doesn't like this team.
Yeah, there's a bit of history there, and that's what you'll get with the Keyser in her 5th year. A lot of history with all these 5th years in blue. And out of the box, we're down to a power play, and fortuitous timing, and there's a goal right on the power play. I mean, there's a break if you ever seen one. Right as the power play is expiring, out of the box comes UBC, and just as they're breaking up, and they score about 3 seconds into that abbreviated power play. As we take a look at it here, and that's 4 power play goals for the Thunderbirds, and that is Sandilands fresh onto the ice scoring the goal, and it's 5-0 UBC.
Yeah, just perfectly timed, and for Sandilands, that's got to feel great. Skate right out of the box and get one right past the goalie there, putting them up 5-0.
5-0, first time Dojon's been beaten, and Sandilands picks up her 5th goal of the year. Second power play goal, that plays offside, will come back to center ice. So just when things, again, a decent start for the Pandas, but then penalty negates part of the power play, and as soon as the penalty expires, UBC moves to 4 for 5 on the power play tonight. Face-off won by Keyser. King's pass tipped in by Keyser. The captain still playing hard, still getting a lot of attention from UBC. We'll now be looking for the shutout. That puck turns over to Keyser, and she plays it into the corner to Carruthers, finds it back to Keyser. Tried for the shot, had it knocked off her stick, and Black able to play it in deep, pursued by Magnus and Carruthers, who's moved up to the Keyser line now. After initially it was Power on this line. Puck turns over, and here is Carruthers. That shot blocked, and then nearly kicked into her own net by Zinger. Made a great play, and then nearly scored on her own net. Carruthers, off of good pressure from the Pandas, tried to force it through, but taken away at the last second by Healy. And Healy able to get it out. Pandas quickly back the other way. Pandas playing with speed and some urgency now. Clouston drops it off for Morden, who's now tied up but able to go around 2 Thunderbirds, forces it in towards the net. And then it's knocked back out. Picked up though by Melnick, now to Cazell. And we'll find Parrott. Up the left wing, hands off to Clouston. And that shot, oh, dangerous through the crease. And the net is about 4 inches off the pegs there. We're going to get a penalty. I'm not sure if that's going to be Morden for running into the goalie, or she was pushed in. There's just a lot of momentum heading towards Huggins in that UBC net. Either way, somebody's going to the box, and we'll find out who. And it is going to be Morden, not happy about it, saying I got pushed. And let's see if she's right on this replay. First off, great play by Clouston there. You take a look at the collision there. And
yeah, that looks like a shove.
Yeah, it's Jacqueline Fleming right into the back of Morden, but it's Morden who heads to the box. And now this 4 for 5 UBC power play, a chance for a fifth here at 12-12. So this is where you, after this one, you're going to have to wipe it clean. A lot of bad bounces in this one and a lot of bad breaks, but there's always tomorrow, and the Pandas again have done a lot of little things right in this period, but a couple of bad breaks and a goal, and now the Thunderbirds a chance to really pour it on with the sixth. Elliott, who does have 2 assists but no goals in the game so far, her shot was blocked, and then that pass whistles through the crease, intended for the back post in Schaefer, but too hard for her to handle. Schaefer now with the puck in the corner, and now Elliott, who forces it around to the end boards. Keyser applying pressure, but it comes back. Morris from deep, that shot wide, not in on Dojan. And Zinger unable to hold the puck in, and that'll be a much relief bringing clear. As Alberta, oh, Morris just lost her skates for a second, but Schaefer right there to pick it up. And now Schaefer nearly losing the puck off some pressure from Haley Craig. And the Pandas, is now Rosari continuing to force the puck to stay in the UBC defensive zone, and they'll opt to just put some fresh bodies onto the ice, including one Grace Elliott, who's got the puck now. Up the right wing she comes, watched by Kate Williams, powering in from the right faceoff circle with a backhander, well held by Dojan. Williams did enough to force Elliott, who goes right off. She was on for 10 seconds for just that purpose, it seems, and she'll go right back to the bench. Preserve her legs for tomorrow at 5 goals, knowing that you got another one in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, whenever you can get number 26 out in space with a full-headed Steve, you're going to take that advantage.
Williams did at least force her onto that backhand and made an easier read for Dojan. Good play by number 81 in white. That shot not in on net. About 4 bodies went down, including Riley Smith, who I think got the block on it. UBC somehow able to hold that puck in. Fleming now gets it to the corner. It's been the second power play unit, though. They have 2 goals in this one. And the Pandas able to somehow clear that one out despite the best efforts of Perrier. And Fleming, and now Black picks the puck up. And now into the stick of Riley Smith as the penalty is dwindling down into its final seconds. So the Pandas get the kill as UBC moves to 4 for 6 on the night on the advantage. And they came in at about right in the middle of the pack at Canada West at 14.6%, but both the top and the second power play units have 2 goals. So displaying a lot of depth on the power play. Holly Magnus now with it as we're inside 10 minutes to play in this one. 5-0 UBC continuing to lead. It was a game that was scoreless after 1 period, but 4 second period goals blew this one open for the Thunderbirds. And after the Pandas picked up 7 shots in the first period, they've had 4 in 30 minutes since. Keyser with it into the corner. And she'll find Carruthers in the opposite corner, back to the blue line and King. Thought about the shot, back though to Carruthers. And she's checked into the corner, watched diligently by Pepler. And the puck comes back to center ice, picked up by Williams. And across to King, who gets it in deep. And it'll go all the way around the boards, picked up by Clouston. He's able to do enough to hold it off and allow Parrott to join the play. And what do we got here? I think that might have gone up into the net. We'll wait the call. And oh, we got players tied up with equipment, and a couple of Jalen Morris and Callie Clouston got tied up, and that's why we get blown dead, and we'll keep it right here in the Pandas offensive zone. Face off won by the Thunderbirds, and out comes Elliott up the right wing. And Black and Parrott do a good job to make sure number 26 doesn't get in towards net, but the Thunderbirds do hold the zone. And that one does deflect and doesn't quite get in on net. Lots of traffic for UBC, but unable to get that shot in on net. And now Borden with some speed, 2-on-2 the other way. And it's forced into the corner by Carmen, and plays it back to the blue line, but Melnick, who had just come onto the ice, unable to hold it in. And so the Pandas will reset. Now Cazell with a bit of a screen now from the right faceoff circle. She's left all alone, gets that one in. Blocked. No, they say they get it in. So everybody was thinking about Cazell passing, and they just left her alone. And good look for number 2 in white. But Huggins up to the task, picking up her 12th save. Melnick with it now. Will head up the left wing. Alberta would love a goal here and some positive things to take in. And we'll have yet another power play as a crunching hit laid there. And I think it's going to be Cassidy Rhodes heading to the box. She knows it. It's about as quick as you've ever seen a player head to the box.
Yeah, she knew she was the guilty party on that one. And, you know, once again, we're back here with the Pandas on the power play looking for maybe just any kind of spark at this point.
And that was Melnick who drew the penalty. Got a crunching hit that time by Cassidy Rhodes, who has 2 assists in this game and now 2 penalty minutes. By the way, Rhodes had no points coming into this. Our first 2 points on the season. Face-off controlled by UBC initially, and now they do have it. Thunderbirds have done a really good job. That's been one of the key differences that's allowed the dominance of the offensive zone time on the power play is UBC, while the face-offs overall have been relatively equal, on the power play it seems UBC always gets that clear on the initial rush, and the Pandas haven't been able to do the same, and so often if you can get that first clear, it just makes things a lot easier on your PK unit. And UBC will tie things up in this corner, content to let a few seconds tick off the clock here, trying to preserve this shutout for Huggins. Shot from distance from Smith is not on net. And the clear will come from Morris. That puck just knuckles on down to Dojon. And out comes Perrier onto the ice, and once again, very active on this forecheck. Morden hands it off to Parrott, now to Clouston. Pass never reached her. And Cazell will retreat and pick it up. Shops at that pass, which finds Craig. And she'll lay it off for Cazell. And now Parrott and Morden. Alberta offside, they have to backtrack. Haley Craig with it, able to force it through, and then Clouston right into the skates of her own teammate, and UBC knocks it back down the other way, where Cazell will battle it out with Sandilands, who scored the 5th goal, the only goal in this period, and Sandilands and Craig in a tie up off the puck. Puck back the other way though. Now Morden with it, and that shot in. Good shot there, good save by Huggins. Back to Smith now on the blue line. 14 seconds to go on the power play. And it's forced back out by Sandilands. 7 seconds to go. Smith will get it in, and that will just about do it. So the Pandas move to 0 for 6 on the power play. 4 for 6 and 0 for 6 in a 5-0 game. It's a pretty striking difference. One shot on that power play by Morden, and then that shot from Smith took a deflection, I think, off of Sandilands. And UBC skates it out. Elliott's on the ice. They find her up the left wing this time. And her pass a little too far in front of Weeb. Elliott, though, wins the puck right back and tried to pick out the top corner. Dojon equal to the task. Blockers it away. A couple of good saves from Dojon on Grace Elliott in this period. Pandas get it back out to center ice. Carruthers tied up by Wong. And right back it comes. The puck off the end boards into the back of the net, picked up by Alberta. Now Rosari with it. Retreats. 5 minutes to go in this one. UBC maintaining their unbeaten record to start the year. Alberta will fall to 3, 6, and 4. Tough start to the year for the Pandas. And they'll play UBC again tomorrow, again at 5 o'clock. Be on Canada West TV again tomorrow. 5 o'clock Mountain Time, that is. 4 o'clock if you're watching out in Vancouver. Puck tied up in front of the Pandas bench. Squirts loose now to Williams for the Pandas. A nice little move there to evade pressure by Bordetti. And now the pass finds Stanford, and Zinger, though, there to make life difficult And Bordetti, though, does a good job to hold that puck in initially. Now it's back out to center ice to Stanford. Now Cazell to Udall. Both teams opting to play third and fourth lines a little bit more, and you can understand why with the game in hand and a quick turnaround to tomorrow's game as that puck's into the crowd. Fan gets a hold of that and cheers. And we'll have a neutral zone face-off with 3:53 to go.
So this will be potentially the fourth shutout for Elise Huggins tonight. And I mean, what a season she's had in net. For both these goalies, I'm sure we're going to see Lucifora tomorrow, potentially, who also has 2 shutouts. So UBC's got some great goalie depth on this team.
Huggins, the veteran. Lucifora, second year, is another save for Huggins there, her 14th. As she's looking to move to 7-0, and it would be 4 shutouts in 7 games. And came into this game with a .952 save percentage. That's going to tick upwards towards 96%. Unless Alberta can tickle the twine here in the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds. UBC, though, breaks out up the left wing. And we'll look to set up shot behind the Pandas net. Back to the blue line it works to Church. And now back to Buckley, who you wonder if there's going to be any offense coming from UBC who look content to really play more of the puck possession game. It might be Buckley, who is on a hat trick.
Yeah, definitely. She's hoping for that 3rd goal, I'm sure.
Scored 2 power play goals in that second period. She's back onto the bench, and the puck's back into the Pandas' defensive zone, but it's picked up by Annie King. Finds Williams. And now Parrott out to center ice. Took a bump, though, and UBC right back the other way as Fleming forced wide by Williams. Good defensive play by her. And now Alberta picks the puck up, and UBC content to let them skate it out. It's tipped in deep by Morden, and from about the red line, that one a good deflection and then knuckled right in front of Huggins, who had to make a very sharp save. I'm sure not expecting that puck to ever come near her, but preserves the shutout with an awkward one there.
That's like using your 9 wedge on the fairway there and trying to chip it in from 100 yards out.
And nearly did to Jaden Morden. Face-off tied up right on top of the face-off dot. UBC comes away with it, and they'll skate it out 2-on-2. They come into the offensive zone. Elliott, one of those 2. Melnick makes a nice play, though, takes the puck away initially, but then held in by Buckley, who's playing out there with Elliott, and I think that's a not-so-subtle attempt to get her that hat trick. She doesn't normally play on a line with Grace Elliott, who forces the play back deep. It's picked up by Cazell. And out to center ice it comes. And it turns over. Carruthers will wrist it in deep and go off for a change. Bordetti just onto the ice, picks it up in the left corner. And a scrum right behind that UBC net, well handled though by the Thunderbirds. They'll move up the left wing, and that goes all the way down and will be an icing. We'll head back the other way with the minute 40 to go. 5-0 the score remains. 4 of those goals in the second period for the Thunderbirds, and an additional one early here in the third. And trying out some different line combos as Morden's out there with Haley Craig and Kelly Stanford. Good time to experiment and try to find something that works, as Buckley was trying to force that in. Again, 2 things UBC might be looking for: the shutout, obviously, and a hat trick for Buckley, who is right on the edge of that crease. That shot in on the net. Cleared back to the blue line, held in, though, by Lorenz. And now Stanford, without a skate, forces Lorenz into the boards. Lorenz able to get the puck deep, though. Trying to get it in towards Buckley was Fleming. And the Pandas able to get it out. Picked up by Zinger as we enter the final minute of play here of a resounding UBC win. It was 0-0 after a period. Alberta might have even edged that first period. They did on shots, but then just a dominant second period. 4 goals and a 16-2 shot differential. And then a cherry on top with the goal here early in the third. Pandas able to clear the zone. Buckley's still out there, but a turnover. Here's Udall, and she scores! So there you go, a little bit of a positive for the Pandas, and something coming into tomorrow as Reagan Udall picks up her first goal of the year on a turnover, and you can see Huggins not happy about that, and yeah, I would be frustrated too, but take nothing away from Udall, who made no mistake with that one.
Congrats to Udall on that goal, and that's just got to feel good for the Pandas. Bang, right past her, yeah, and that's a good way to end the game. It's not obviously the outcome you want, but you know what? At least you scored one tonight, and you play them tomorrow. So, and she doesn't get the shutout, so it's kind of a win-win there.
Yeah, that's the second time that Huggins has lost a shutout. Well, she allowed 1 goal in his 5-1 game in Vancouver. So the Pandas do get a little bit of a cherry there, but they do turn it over there. Rosari loses her skates to Perrier, but then the puck turns right back over, and now Riley Smith, out it comes. Here is the goal scorer, Udall. And she'll find Bordetti skating in as we enter the last 2 seconds. Bordetti taken down, and the game winds up, and UBC walks out 5-1 winners, and referees get in there because Bordetti was taken down and thought maybe something might have come out of it. But 5-1 our final score. A little bit of an awkward ending there, and the referees are actually very sharply gesturing for UBC or somebody to head off. So this is a very weird end of the game. I'm not sure what's going on right now, but there's some very demonstrative things going on between the officials and the UBC bench right now. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe we'll get some explanation after the fact. But 5-1 our final score, and so Reagan Udall does get that goal, but that second period really the difference for UBC, Riley.
Yeah, UBC just was able to score 4, and at that point it's kind of waving the white flag. This team is dominant on defense, offense, and on special teams. It's really hard to find any chink in their armor, and they were able to get the win here tonight. But you know what? The Pandas were able to get one past them, and it's the little victories, right? The Thunderbirds were kind of stat padding tonight. You know, they get to bump up their power play succession rate a bit, but no shutout for the goalie, so that's a moral victory right there for the Pandas.
Yeah, you get Reagan Udall, who was a key offensive contributor last year, her first goal of the year, and sometimes it's, even though it's at the end of a blowout loss, you get that goal and just somehow flips a switch inside of you, and the Pandas have been searching for that second scoring line all year long, and Udall certainly one of the ones who could potentially deliver part of that. So they do get that goal. We'll be back here again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Riley, any adjustments that you're thinking you'd like to see from Alberta?
Yeah, it just really comes down to rebounding for the goalies. So I don't know who's going to be in that tomorrow, possibly Glover. But yeah, it really just comes down to that. They were really snake bitten on that today. So I'd also see some adjustments with the couple lines there. It looked like Howie's playing around with those top 2 lines later in the game tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if Braden Stewart comes back or Abby Soiko perhaps, as both were scratched today. But we'll find out tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Again, that will be right here on Canada West TV. And if you are around, you can come right out to Clare Drake Arena and watch these 2 very fierce rivals take on each other for the 4th time this year, and the last time that'll take place in Edmonton. So our final score, 5-1. UBC uses a 4-goal second period, and wins 5-1 as Alberta falls for the 3rd time to the Thunderbirds this year. For Riley Turgeon, I'm Patrick Erickson saying good night from Clare Drake Arena. One more time, UBC 5, Alberta 1, as you watch Pandas hockey on CBC and Canada West TV, powered by BioSteel.